So this is great news, but also news that completely came out of nowhere. Lucasfilm officially announced a Mandalorian Star Wars movie directed by my boy, Jon Favreau. Let's discuss the official press release, but before we do, please leave a like on the video to support the channel. So here's what the article said on the official Star Wars website. The Mandalorian and Grogu are embarking on a new adventure to the movie theaters. Directed by Jon Favreau and produced by Favreau, Kathleen Kennedy, and Dave Filoni, The Mandalorian and Grogu will go into production in 2024. Jon Favreau went on to say, "I have loved telling stories set in the rich world that George Lucas created. The prospect of bringing the Mandalorian and his apprentice Grogu to the big screen is extremely exciting." Then they talked to Kathleen Kennedy, who said, "Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have ushered into Star Wars two new and beloved characters, and that this new story is a perfect fit for the big screen." Last part of the article says, The Mandalorian and Grogu will lead Lucasfilm's ongoing feature development slate, including films by Sharmina Bat-Chinoy, James Mangold, Dave Filoni, who is also currently developing Ahsoka Season 2 among those in the works. This is the way. So just by the ending of it, it does sound like this is the next Star Wars film. I mean, they did say it was going into production this year. I mean, that is a very quick turnaround time. So that does mean this is next. This is the next Star Wars film that is coming. They also confirmed two other things at the end of this article. That is, we're getting the Rey movie by Sharmina Bat-Chinoy still, the James Mangold movie, and the Dave Filoni movie. All three of those movies, even though it's been less than a year since they've been announced, are still in the works, which with Lucasfilm is a good sign of things. There's a little bit more to add to this, though. A couple other industry journalists from Deadline and The Hollywood Reporter added some more details in the announcement. They said that Deadline, apparently, it's not really been confirmed whether Pedro Pascal will reprise his role as the Mandalorian for this new film, and at present, a fourth season of this series is also in development. So that means there's still a fourth season of The Mandalorian coming. Bespin Bulletin and Making Star Wars, Jason Ward, both reliable insiders in the Star Wars universe at least, and they have both said that there is still a fourth season of The Mandalorian. Jason Ward was saying that maybe the last two episodes of Season 4 are actually going to be turned into this movie that they're discussing and that they announced. And then the Hollywood Reporter had this small little detail that Lucasfilm did not specify a date for the movie, though there is an untitled Star Wars feature set for December 19th, 2025. So if this does start production this year, and they already have the scripts planned, and it's already kind of done, everything's just waiting to get started, December of 2025 isn't the worst idea in the world, especially if they're doing this Season 4 of The Mandalorian, where let's say we get that in 2025, the first half of the year, and then in December we get the movie. That's pretty big. Now, I do think that's a quick turnaround time to film Season 4 and then film the movie, even if everybody just stays on set for the entire time. It's like 6 months to film The Mandalorian. Add another 6 months probably for the movie, because I'm assuming the movie is going to be harder and a lot more expensive to film. I think that's a very quick turnaround time. But marketing-wise, if you want this film to do really good, you do need a Season 4. I've seen people be upset with the idea of getting Season 4 and this movie. I'm not that opposed to it, because I think this movie needs some marketing and needs goodwill to build into the movie, because Season 3 did not build up a lot of goodwill. There's not a lot of excitement for The Mandalorian after Season 3, so I think just doing the movie immediately after Season 3, waiting like 2 to 3 years to see Din Djarin and Grogu again, isn't the best idea. I think they do need a Season 4. With that said, let's talk about Dave Filoni, because when they announced this, I thought that I thought Jon Favreau was replacing Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni's Mandoverse is still in the work. That movie is still happening, and he's got Ahsoka Season 2 on his plate. So this probably buys him a little bit more time, but this leads into the idea this is actually going to be a trilogy. There have been reports from Bespin Bulletin, yet again, reliable scooper, who also said that we are going to get a Mandalorian trilogy, and this is kind of the start of it. So that is very interesting as well, because then you have the two guys spearheading the Mandoverse, Jon and Dave, both directing movies, two of the movies out of this trilogy. I don't know who would do the third one. I would love a Bryce Dallas Howard or Rick Famuyiwa. I think both of those people deserve a crack at this. But I think Jon Favreau is the perfect man for this movie right here. This is the next Star Wars movie. That is a very big deal. A lot of us, and especially us on Chatooine, like me and Lunga, pushed back on the idea that Rogue Squadron or the Rey Star Wars movie should be the next film for Star Wars, the film to bring Star Wars back. But a Mandalorian movie is a great idea to bring Star Wars back. It is the most popular Star Wars media. I mean, maybe since the sequels. I mean, it came around the same time, but I think it's even in a better position than the sequels because I think Din Djarin and Grogu are so popular, they kind of transcend Rey, Poe Dameron, Finn, and maybe even Snoke. I don't know about Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren's extremely popular these days, but still, these characters, Din Djarin and Grogu, are extremely popular with general audiences. They have a lot of goodwill baked into the cake already. I think this movie easily can clear $1 billion, but I do think we need a season 4 for the situation. Like I said, Jon Favreau was the perfect guy for this. I'm so surprised that they announced this movie 6 months after they did 3 movie announcements. This announcement came out of nowhere, and we all know why. We all know that it's the controversy around Charmina Vachinoy. I'm going to make a video covering that in the next week. But that alone caused so much negative PR for the Rey movie that it being next, it was like, oh man, is this really the right move here? This is the right move. Lucasfilm did make a good choice, and I think this movie is a great option to bring Star Wars back into the theaters. Timing was weird, announcement was weird, they dropped it literally out of nowhere, and I really do think it was to cover up the bad press that they were having. Regardless, though, this is a good idea. It's been talked about for a little bit. I'm glad it's come to fruition. We need to see The Mandalorian on the big screen, and I really hope they deliver, but I trust Jon Favreau. So tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think about this amazing announcement that we're getting a Mandalorian and Grogu movie? Apparently that's the title. I think the title's horrible, but tell me your thoughts about that in the comment section below. If you like this video, please like it and support the show by doing so. Watch the Chatooine show that we did this past week that covers this entire topic at length. We had a lot of thoughts on that, and we had a special guest, so please go check that out. Thank you all for watching. I'm Star Wars Only, and the Force be with you, always.